come from a long lineage of proud warriors. We had a great number of visitors at our dojo, many of them masters of their respective disciplines. At some point, I picked up a blade of my own and began to mimic their movements. Back then, I enjoyed the training for what it was, valuing the journey over the destination. That is, until I met him, the supreme swordsmaster of the Eternals, Eata, once known as the demon Zamba. With a single glance, he identified all of my weaknesses. Then, with a few words, he taught me to overcome them. His strength was beyond captivating. I even eavesdropped on a conversation between him and my father, and discovered we were distant relatives. I was elated. For some time, he continued to train at our family dojo. I took every opportunity I could to learn from him, following him wherever he went. I ate whenever he ate. I committed all his mannerisms to memory. However, with the exception of our first encounter, he never acknowledged me. After all, he yearned for nothing more than strength. Why pay heed to a weakling, such as myself? So I vowed to become stronger. I would soar so high, he'd have to see me. I dedicated myself to training, begrudging even a single moment of respite. The blade was everything to me. And eventually, there was no disciple at the dojo who could come close to rivaling my skill. That was around when he vanished. In the blink of an eye, he was out of my life. He spoke not another word to me, nor called me by name. I was meditating in the forest one day when a group of travelers approached me. I didn't know them, but they were the captain and the crew of the Grand Cipher, and my future. Initially, I thought they were lost and had come to ask for directions. I was only half correct. They were seeking guidance, but not out of the woods. They wanted to learn martial arts from me. I shook my head. I was no master. Only a chrysalis, struggling to break free of my own shell. I believed the captain was mocking me. But that wasn't the case. I looked into the captain's eyes and found truth, alongside a burning desire for strength. It felt as if I was in his presence again. I found myself drawn to the captain. That's why I decided to join the crew of the Grand Cipher on their journey across the skies. I was convinced that this was the only path that could reunite me with Zamba. One day, I encountered an adorable Harvan girl at a local market. I'd already finished my shopping, so I decided to accompany her to a nearby cafe for tea and conversation. Upon parting, I asked for her name. She proudly introduced herself as Fief, one of the 10 Eternals. I had heard that Zamba once cared for a child of the same name. A jealousy brewed within me that I hadn't felt before. Zamba had taken notice of her, yet he never once acknowledged me during our time together. My inner peace had been shattered. I retreated to the mountains and started my training anew. But the more I tried to find direction, the more I realized how lost I truly was. It was Lyria and the captain who brought me back. They appreciated me for who I was. Nothing more, nothing less. Perhaps I too could learn to love the living, breathing me, and not a ghost of the future. That thought filled me with so much contentment. I was ready to give up on chasing Zomba. But the universe works in strange ways. As soon as I was about to let go, Fief helped bring me and Zomba together again. It was then I finally put into words how I felt. I spoke about how I wanted him to acknowledge me, to call my name. He listened quietly, and for what I felt was the first time, truly saw me. But I had yet to see and love myself. As part of my quest for self-discovery, I crossed blades with Zomba. No, Ayata. We fought for days. He no longer believed I was a weakling. After our battle, we visited the tea shop, and it was there that he first addressed me by name. Never had tea and cake tasted so sweet to me. Now, with nothing holding me back, I am free to soar toward ever greater heights with my beloved companions on the Grand Cipher. No, I had failed that day at the Hill Wind Altar. I had spent years training and sharpening my skills, devoted my entire life to the pursuit of strength. But in that moment, it all amounted to nothing. Our experiences in Zego Grande had planted a seed of doubt in my mind. Over time, it grew, dense and wild as a jungle, choking me with a sense of helplessness like I'd never felt before. I wasn't able to protect Lyria or the captain. I had found my identity as a big sister, as a guardian, but now that I'd failed, who was I? I thought about resuming my training, but I couldn't afford to isolate myself like that. What if something were to happen while I was away? Then, the solution came to me. Whenever the captain was about to take on a dangerous mission, I would complete it first. That way, I could train myself and protect the crew in one fell swoop. I was too blind to see that despair had clipped my wings and chained me once again to the past. Are there any particularly dangerous missions available? Sierra Carte, with her usual cheery disposition, set a list of options before me.
Sure are. We've got a few jobs here that only a crew of your caliber could handle. In fact...
She paused and looked at me with a quizzical expression.
You know, I can't even remember the last time I saw you here by your lonesome. Don't you usually do things as a crew?
I told her I intended to undertake these missions alone, as part of my training.
I gotcha. The grind never ends for you, huh? Just don't push yourself too hard, you hear?
I nodded, only half acknowledging Sierra's words. After deciding upon a venture, I chartered a small carrier vessel which would take me to a nearby island. As the ship was tossed about the turbulent winds, I closed my eyes and looked for peace within. This is for their sake, as well as mine. According to Sierra, the threat should be somewhere around here. I sense great evil. Just a little farther. Shall we test which is stronger? Your shield or worthless. But it's not over yet. I will not rest while evil runs free. Dawnflies. Huh? Do you not have anything more dangerous? I made quick work of the mission and returned at once to Sierra. She seemed taken aback when I demanded more work, but I was determined. If someone had to risk their life, better me than the captain. The crew didn't have to know. They would be kept free from worry and danger, while I grew stronger. I was so absorbed in my thoughts, I'd failed to notice how Sierra's eyes grew ever more clouded with worry.
Need something?
I continued to take one treacherous job after another. If you want someone safe, then keep them from entering the tiger's den. It's as simple as that.
Are you really sure you're up for another one, Narmaya?
Sierra worried for me, but there was no turning back now. My labor had bore fruit. The rest of the crew was beginning to look healthier, better rested. They returned earlier from missions, bearing fewer injuries. I appreciate the concern, Sierra, but the path to strength is long and narrow, and I must continue down this path, for all of their sakes. I was fixated on protecting my loved ones. They were all I could see. If they were safe, then nothing else mattered. That thought alone was enough to steel my resolution. On days without work, I would meditate on the deck of the Grand Cipher. One day, the voice of Vern broke through my meditations.
I don't know. She looks pretty wound up. Wouldn't she usually have dozed off by now? I'm telling ya, something's going on.
He was livelier than ever. Perfect.
You shouldn't push yourself too hard, Narmaya.
And sweet, tender Lyria. Yes, this was how things should be. I cracked open my eyes and stole a hopeful glance at the captain. But on that kind face, I could read only worry and distress. I wanted nothing more than to comfort my darling. No, I was acting for their sakes. I had already come so far. If I could just hold to my path a little longer, make the skies a little safer, then I could go back to being their big sister. I needed more strength. I needed to be worthy of this family. The crew of the Grand Cipher was powerful, but in the end, we were only small people in a vast sky, filled with endless dangers. If I didn't get stronger, one day that sky would engulf us. I had to protect them. I could protect them. All I was lacking was time. I couldn't believe it. I rushed back to Zero after every mission, but that day the captain had dropped by without my knowledge and taken up a request, a particularly treacherous one. It was careless to think that Zero would reserve every single dangerous job for me.
The Grand Cipher crew's more than capable of handling it.
Couldn't she see? The universe worked in dark and mysterious ways. Their lives were always in danger. If I allowed monsters to wander free through the skies, their rot would continue to seep until I, just one lonely figure, could no longer hold back the tide. I had to hunt them all down. There was not a moment to lose. I had to cut down the root of evil, so it could never spread again. I would not kill out of malice, nor did I seek meaningless violence. But when weighing the lives of my loved ones against the lives of these beasts, the answer was clear. As long as their threat persisted across the skies, the crew would never truly be safe. And so I would wield my blade to protect the crew and the helpless. For the captain, I would become the harbinger of death. Everything is for the captain. My captain. My dearest captain. I would kill, and kill, and kill, and kill. Every last threat.
What just happened? Like, she just became a demon. Yo, like, I wasn't prepared for that. Like, she was such a nice person, and then she's and kill and kill and kill. Like, relax.
I found the largest known monster's den in this skydom, and began my hunt. Die, for the sake of the skies, and my captain. My blade cut through flesh and bone. Again, again, again and again. And soon, time lost all meaning. How long was I there? Perhaps 3, or even 4 days. My grip went numb, my vision blurred, my body grew heavy. But I couldn't stop. Not here. With these hands, I would deliver my loved ones, even if it meant seeping them in blood. Next is 979. I must stay strong. For the captain. I must destroy every threat. They must all be eliminated. Come what may. Evanescence! Free flutter. Rain, my hands have gone numb, but even in death, my sword and I are one. Out of my sight. Storm. Wind in the field. on the sea. To see me is to see death. Fight. Not yet. Wind in the fields. Come. Sing. Try again. Rain on the hills. 999. There's more above me. I can feel it. Here. You have breathed your last. Death breathes life. Dream. Wind in the fields. Float. Stay vigilant! Rain on the hills. The final. I will take your life, even if it costs me mine! Fight! It must be done. You must protect the captain. You're finished. Brief letter stands. Watch out for 1,000. I finally did it. Wait. There's more of that. Impossible. My body had reached its limit. I had managed to fend off countless hordes of monsters, but more kept creeping from the shadows. I summoned the last of my strength for one final swing. Then my sword clattered to the ground. Darkness. Monsters began to close in, claws drawn, ready to kill. I closed my eyes, waiting for it all to end. But before my mind could fade into darkness, I was roused by a brilliant flash.
Narmaya!
Captain?
Let's get you out of here! Quickly! You had us worried, you know?
Vern, Lyria too? The captain took my hand, but I couldn't leave yet. I had to finish the job.
Narmaya, I'm so sorry we didn't notice what you were going through sooner.
My heart plunged. I should have been the one apologizing. I was the one who failed. Gently, I tried to withdraw my fingers from the captain's.
We heard it all from Sierra. Can't believe she's been giving you all the hard jobs. You were doing it to protect us, right?
I parted my lips. They needed to understand that it wasn't Sierra's fault, that I brought this all on myself. But my arid throat could not push out a voice. After a moment of silence, the captain pressed down on my hand.
Narmaya, I want to protect those closest to me, same as you. So if something's on your mind, don't keep it to yourself. We're here for you.
And just like that, I was overcome with the emotions I had tried so hard to suppress. How could I have been so blind? Not a single one of us could protect the crew. But that's okay, because all of us could protect each other. The whole is greater than its parts. The captain's grip was firm and led me blinking into the sunlight. There, I saw worry etched into the faces of the crew. I realized that, by putting myself in harm's way, I hurt those who cared for me. Those who loved me, those I wanted to spend my days with, now and forever. But the course I had been following could only lead to isolation. The captain still hadn't let go of my hand. Though the grip of those calloused fingers was firm, I felt a gentle kindness in their warmth.
Good day.
Captain, are you hungry? I'd be more than happy to feed you. Or maybe you'd like a nap. I always thought I had to be strong for my loved ones, never truly realizing they were my strength. We supported each other. We lessened the burden of sorrow and shared the light of joy. Lyria, you've got a bit of cream on your cheek. Here, let me wipe it off for you.
Oh, thank you, Narmaya. I'm glad Butterfly Girl's back to normal. But is it just me, or is she laying it on even thicker than usual?
Vern was adorable, trying to play the part of the tough dragon. However, as I took him into my arms, I thought, he shouldn't have to put on an act around me. After all, we're family, aren't we? On a bright, quiet day, I had a sparring match with the captain. I once locked myself away from the world in the pursuit of strength, training in solitude. But I've since found that I train best with those I love around me, to lend me a guiding hand or an encouraging voice. The captain held nothing back during our session. It seems I'm not the only one who has grown stronger. Our blades rang bright and clear, and the captain's smile is a clear reminder of how far I'd come. After training was over, we stood for a while longer on the deck of the Grand Cipher, feeling the breeze. Above us, the azure sky was spread as far as the eye could see, its splendor too much to take in all at once. I felt as if I would be consumed by the sky itself, and grasped the captain's hand. In that moment of peace, I swore that I would keep learning and growing. Not alone, but together with those I love.